You are watching Taking It to the Nub with your host, Boston Jimmie. This is Season 1, Episode 28. And tonight, we have one of my favorite people in the world, a very special guest. This guy's been in the movies, he's been on TV, he's written books, he loves pit bulls, he rescues them. You know him as Shorty Rossi. I just call him friend. So, Shorty, I'm going to bring you in right now, and let's get this show underway.
Hey.
Hey, my friend, how are you?
Doing good, Jeremy. How you doing?
Good. It's been a while. Last time I think I hung out with you, other than a few private little messaging back and forth, was a baseball game in Detroit with Hercules.
Yeah, with Hercules, Ryan Gilmore.
And Ryan Gallimore. So you had Mutt and Jeff.
And Roman Yvonne, yeah.
And Roman, yes. How you doing?
I'm doing good, hanging in there. Glad to be seeing you. Growing your little beard and mustache, looking like a Santa Claus in a slim down version.
I need an elf.
I see you got one of my t-shirts on.
Hold on, let me show everybody this t-shirt so everybody knows what's going on today. So I'm going to go up real slowly.
There's only one dangerous breed. It ain't Hercules. Humans, of course.
There you go.
We don't even sell those no more. That's been a while.
No, that was what you gave that as part of. We gave donations a couple of years back. That was part of the package. Love this shirt.
My shirt, let's see.
Yeah, you might want to turn your Facebook down.
I just did. Here's my shirt. I forgot I had this on.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Here we go.
You got to turn the volume down on that. I usually keep mine going so I can watch the comments coming in, see who's joining. So, I guess the first time I met you was at an IPC PCR about 5 years ago. Matter of fact, I think you were hanging out with the guys from Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
All right. And Ryan Gallimore introduced me to you. Ryan Gallimore introduced me to a lot of people in this industry. For a young guy, he was pretty well known. And you were going around. You had Hercules with you, and I'm so sorry that Hercules has passed away.
It's going on 3 years next month.
I know. And I remember there was an episode. So for those that don't, so we're going to get back. We got to roll the film back for a lot of people who may not be familiar with Shorty Rossi. But I remember an episode of Pit Boss where you were actually talking about someday having to find a replacement for Hercules. And you had your other dogs. And like none of them were going to fit the bill. One was too anxious. One was like
too aggressive, wanted to be my protector. One just wanted to go run away.
Mm-hmm. So let's go back in time. We're going to go way back in time. And for those that don't know Shorty, okay, if you can, I'm going to give you a selfish plug. Shorty wrote a book back in 2012, I think it was. And it's a memoir of his life that tells a lot of riveting and cool information and things you may not know about Shorty. We'll probably talk some about it here because it's important to understand where this man has come from. So we're going to go back in time, and a lot of this is going to would be in that book, at least in the early life. But you were born to a family that was, were they both, I'm going to use the term so we don't get politically correct or incorrect. Were they both
little people?
Were they both little people?
Yeah.
Mom and dad, right?
in my family, I'm third generation dwarfism. My
Okay.
one grandmother on my mom's side, and then my dad and mom. There's no other history in the family with it. And it starts out to a genetic defect and goes into hereditary. And usually doesn't go past one generation, but I'm unique and different. So I guess I had to fight the odds.
And you have two sisters that are not
Yeah, they're average height.
average height. Now, when you were growing up, you grew up in California.
Yeah.
And your father, you describe in your book how your father was rather abusive when you were growing up. There was no getting around anything. You were late for dinner. You got a whipping. You've got, how long that went on to what? You left at 15 years old, the house?
Yeah, I mean, it was problems back and forth, and I left quite a few times before I left the last time, and never went back. Even when they moved to Texas after, he left California, I tried it for about a year, and then I, ran away again and came back to Cali, and it was just something, as long as you don't carry those things that you were raised with, it makes you a better person.
Of course.
Because, it came from my grandfather down to him. And it came, and it, the animosity went on for years and years and years, even though way after the fact. I mean, and until recently, we've been on very good terms. I go out and visit the family. Some people see that on Facebook now, and everything. It's been going on for a few years where, it sooner or later we're all gonna die. Let it go. You can always say, "What if?"
Now you talk about how, I mean, you were not the model child, the model student.
I was a freaking nightmare.
Yeah, you talk about how you used to put tacks on the teachers' chairs just to stir up some fun.
Come on, that's funny as shit. It
What
is
grade
today
was
too.
that in?
We started. I remember getting in trouble in third grade doing it. We did it in high school. We used to,
and it kept working. And that
it
joke
kept on working. Hell, we did it in prison to the guards just to have fun.
Now these were just the little thumbtacks.
Yeah, they hurt like hell. Doesn't mean they're little or big. But yeah, I mean, so no, I had. A lot of people always ask you regrets. What would you change? What would you make different? I'm like, I wouldn't change anything. I would never want a different father. I would have never wanted to not run away. I would have never wanted to do, I didn't mean to hurt people. Well, let me say I didn't mean. I mean, I do regret hurting people, but everything that led up to all the way until after I got out of prison is the reason why I'm here today.
Right.
If I change anything of my past, who knew we probably won't be talking. Everyone, life makes you who you are, but you got to go along with it to get your career. Even when I got out of prison, I never knew I was going to get involved with the dogs. That was the last thing. I never knew I was going to get involved in entertainment. I wanted to be a lawyer. But
yes, you were even when you were now in prison, you actually you got a degree, you got your GED, and you also said you got your degree in
paralegal studies.
Okay.
Yes.
So you were bettering yourself from the moment you got in, starting with.
Not the moment I got in. It took a couple of years.
So let's roll this clock back, all right? And you ended up living in the projects right outside the Watts area, down
inside the Watts area.
Inside the Watts area, right, of California, where all the violence was. And you talk about how that area was all Bloods, right?
Well, in that part of Watts, it was either Bloods or Crips. I mean, you can count the people that weren't African American or black on your first 5 fingers
Mm-hmm. And
at
then
that time. And now it's totally changed, but yes.
and then you obviously lived through that. You got involved in that, and you do mention in the book how um, it's really sad when people look at children, youth, and they say, they could do better, and you're like, bullshit. You gotta be in their shoes to really understand the environment that they're thrusted into from the day they're born. Some of them, and this is just how it
They
is.
don't know no better. They don't know nothing else. And there's not that many opportunities to give those kids that, something different when they're not, no one's helping them. And, they're maybe third, fourth, fifth generation now that's with a criminal record, with something, their family, everything, and it's hard for people. And I mean, it happens. People do change. People do get in there, get into college and do right. But it's a very slim pickings on the thing. I mean, you always wonder why when some athletes, finally make it big in sports and can't stay out of trouble when you don't have, like, you got millions of dollars and you still want to fuck up. Example, Michael Vick. Okay.
Yeah, you
He
do a
couldn't
whole
let the game,
section of that. Yeah.
you could not let the game go. You had everything, but you still had to go to that extent to bring your past with you. So it's hard for people to understand unless you lived it. You can't understand what's going on until you went through there.
Right.
And of course, then some people we call that don't want to change, or who we call it institutionalized. It's so much brainwashed, and their intelligence or mind and with attention span is not able to get to that level, so they're screwed in life.
Before you got busted, and you got busted for issues. Well, we could talk about that all day, but it's in the book. Okay, you got sent up the river, but you got being in the gang. This was one of the first moments where you actually got to see um, the abusiveness. You said with the pit bulls. Even though you weren't doing what you're doing today, you saw this, and inside of you it hurt you. You said.
Well, it did, because I've always had something bond with animals. Growing up in my household with my parents, we had dogs. I was fascinated with birds and reptiles. And then even when I was on my own, I had my first pit bull in junior high school that I named after one of our Dobermans named Coco. And it was just something I always had a bond with. And I never understand, what was the meaning in, this. I know it had to do with greed and bet money, but as much as it happened where I was living, I could never watch it. They even were saying, hey, when are you going to fight your dog? When are you going to fight your dog? It ain't going to happen. Now, the one thing that took me a while to learn is, and this is even after I got out of prison and before I got heavily involved in rescue, I was a breeder. And I thought, then when I got into rescue, I thought I can do both, thinking I was still doing the right thing in my mind because I didn't know no better until I started, going to the dog pounds and dog shelters and seeing some of those same dogs that I bred in there, getting ready to be euthanized.
Right.
Because people, and I was a backyard breeder. I wasn't a professional breeder. I was nothing. And it took a while just to knock in my head, like, you're defeating the cause you're trying to help.
So you get convicted. You go to this. I guess you described it as kind of a youth penitentiary.
Yeah.
Right. And you were there. You went away at 19 years old.
Correct.
And they take till at 25. You were put away for 25.
Well, as much trouble as I was in, as much crime that I committed, as much chaos that I started, Judge Richard Kalustian and even the DA, For the love of God, I can't remember. Oh, I just spoke with them not too long ago too. Thought I deserve a chance, right? They said I got to start using that manipulation in a positive way, and so instead of sending me directly to prison, they sent me to youth prison, California Youth Authority, which no longer exists anymore. And sometimes but you're only allowed to stay there until you're 25.
Right.
And once I got to that age, I asked for a parole clemency from the governor, that idiot, Pete Wilson, I think it was then. And they denied me based on the violence of my crime. So even, being there, every year you're locked up, you have a point system. And every year you do good, you get down from a level 5 to a level 1, level 1 being the best. I got all the way down to a level 2 when they transferred me to the California Department of Corrections. And my reward for all that good thing was to send me to freaking Folsom State Prison. Because
yeah, you talk a lot about that in the book.
I was like, really, people? You want to, all that shit I did positive. And then when I got there, I thought I was going to a damn high school reunion with all the idiots I grew up with.
No, but going back to DeWitt, one of the things I thought was interesting is, so we know you in these days as the pit boss, the pit bull guy, okay, the cigar guy. You've got a nickname in DeWitt known as the Cat Man.
Yeah, of all things.
So explain that passage. That I enjoyed reading about the Cat Man and what you did.
Well, I had a clerk job in the education department at DeWitt, and there was like hundreds of feral cats. And I always liked animals, no matter what. And I had this job that I shouldn't have. It was real cushy. And next thing you know, they wanted to kill all the cats because it was becoming a problem. And I talked to the warden and convinced him, what about if we catched and fix them and release? We can get people to, donate money, find somebody out there that do it for free. And it was, he let me do it. And I had work from the teaching staff to the correctional officers, and everybody was behind it, where they would catch a lot of them and take them 5 miles somewhere else and get rid of them. But then I'm like, you're still defeating the purpose by not getting them fixed, and they ended up letting me keep a couple while I was there. I had this little garden area hideout where I used to, go and meditate, if you want to call it, smoke a cigar or two, whatever. And it was just something that I guess that always, for some reason, since I was a kid, I had a bond with animals, because even today, no matter what, we live in a cruel world, and I guess by all the problems I went through growing up, all the problems I went through in prison, all the problems I go through now in life, I can always depend on my dogs or an animal to talk to.
Right.
I'll sit there and have a conversation, like if you, let's see here, we brought some of the crew. Can we see them?
There's the group.
Hey, puppies. There we go. Oh, Francis, we're not going nowhere. Calm down. Where, I can really just, chill. Like even today, the workers are gone. Everybody's been fed and everything. Now it's just me. And surprisingly, it's quiet as hell outside with the rescue dogs, and it's my bondage because they don't judge you. Even when you make mistakes, you're still forgiven. And I'd rather come home to this crew than anything else.
They are nothing but love. That's all I know. I can't live without a dog. I have to have a dog. So you go from DeWitt, you go to Folsom. Total time, 10 years, 10 months, 10 days. And you get released on parole. And I believe the quote somebody picked you up, and there's some things somewhere in his book you said there was like a girlfriend involved. It really wasn't the girlfriend, and you said I don't need another girlfriend. What I needed was a car and a dog.
And that's what I got eventually.
And that's what you eventually got, was the car and the dog.
Geisha.
You
know, and that's what got me back into it and did all that. I said, now it's time I can get a dog. And I went to the pound in north central Los Angeles, and I saw her, and she was about to be euthanized that day. I said, good, I'm going to do something good for mankind. I'm going to do something good for something, not knowing when I walked out that dog pound, because it was horrible then. It's good now, but that day was going to change for the rest of my life. Even again, I had another new beginning, because that's what got me into, slowly into rescuing, getting involved, into fighting, when I started, really understanding it's just not a ghetto thing regarding pit bull fighting. It's everywhere, and animal abuse and everything. It got me getting into animal rights, getting into rescuing the breed, fighting for the rights, getting into legal things, where I said, oh, okay, so this is my life. This is what I'm going to do for something that does not help me out. It helps someone else out.
And in this process, you're trying to better your life. You are out there. You got involved in the entertainment industry. You went to Universal Studios. You actually were a dancing guy with Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah.
Right. What was
it? The last thing I ever thought I was going to do, but it paid well.
It paid well. And then you got involved with the Rockettes on tour.
Yeah.
Right. And you were like you were running back and forth and going on a show tour for a week, coming back and meeting with your parole officer, and then going back.
Because I wasn't supposed to leave a 50-mile radius out of my residence.
Right.
And I did it. There's a couple of times I almost got busted. One time I got back to my apartment. He came to see me, and he's like, "You been to St. Louis?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Well, why you got a newspaper from St. Louis on your counter?" I'm like, "Oh, shit." Thank God it was a couple of weeks old. And I said, one of my friends said to me, because I had a dog article in it.
Yeah, there you go.
So, no, they sent this through the mail. I'm like, holy shit, there's the things you lay around, and everything. So, yeah, it was tough. It was risky, but I did it. For 3 years, I was on parole. I mean, normally people stay on parole for 15, 16 months, but then again, because of my past crimes, they kept me on the full 3-year term. And one parole officer told me, he goes, "We're just waiting for you to fuck up." Nice. Okay. Thanks for the support there, buddy. We'll be seeing you next month.
Yeah.
Like
the time the police officers knocked on the door because the dogs are barking, and they thought you and your roomie were drug dealers. That's what the neighbors thought.
Out there in Scranton, Pennsylvania, thank God. Well, I don't know. We're in the middle of nowhere, and you got a black guy, a little person, and a handful of pit bulls moving in a damn neighborhood that they've never, like, what the hell is going on here? And, they came home and they said, well, your neighbors have been reporting you've been doing, drug dealers from California. Like, maybe back in the 80s, we can talk about that, but yeah, not now.
But when you told them who you were working with.
Yeah, for David Blight's school and everything, which is big up there in northeastern Pennsylvania. And they're like, what? David Blight? I started having conversations, and I'm like, my roommate was just shitting bricks because he's been doing more time than I ever had. So,
So I got a couple questions. Take a little break for this conversation for a second. So one of my followers, Jeff Walsh, he's hilarious at these things. He goes, "Shorty,
yeah, do I look like fucking Bart Simpson? Get my ass."
Well, what's your favorite reptile?
Really don't have a favorite reptile. I mean, I've had snakes before. I'm terrified of spiders, funny as that can be. But Really not. I mean, I've had snakes in the past. There's really nothing favored on a reptile.
Mike Holmes says, what did La Country think when you ran out the back with Geisha?
Okay. What did LA County
LA
think?
County, LA County, there you go.
So when we got the story behind Geisha is that, when we went to, we paid for the adoption fee, fill out the paperwork, and they said, come back later because we got to get her fixed, spayed. And so when we came back, she wasn't spayed. They told me to come back and find another dog tomorrow because she passed the time limit. She was going to be euthanized. One of my friends from high school was working there as a kennel worker, talked to somebody, let me steal the dog out of the back door, even though I've already paid for it and everything. And he's right now head of that same place. But yeah, we got away with it. It was something that we did because I felt like, wait a minute, this dog was going to be euthanized, and now you're going to tell me I can't get it when I'm trying to do something right. And that's what really kind of started the whole process. And to everyone asking, I'm smoking a Diesel Shorty original.
And I'm smoking a Cavalier.
This year when we came out with this cigar, 10 years ago. My first
We're going to
cigar.
get into that, but we could talk about that right now. Take a break, go talk right about cigars for a second. Because through all of this that you've done, you got invited by AJ Fernandez to come down to Nicaragua to look at his factory and talk about your relationship with AJ and how that all really started.
It kind of started out before that is when Pit Boss first came on in early 2010. I started sending out, emails to all these cigar companies, different ones and factories and everything. And I was clueless in the industry, and I became a cigar connoisseur in Folsom State Prison when I used to sell cell blocks and housing. Instead of getting cigarettes, I would charge cigars and they would get sent to me in prison real quick, kind of backstory. And everybody was responding by, what can you do for us? And a gentleman by the name Alex Swenson, which a lot of people know in the industry, says, what can I do for you? And he starts sending me blends and everything from AJ. And because they just started a new diesel line with the Unholy Cocktail. And it was just like, I said, can it be a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger? And he sent me a cigar and I loved it. And he goes, I'm going to send you to Nicaragua. I'm like, are you out of your damn mind? He says, this is somebody that lives in Mexico talking shit about another country. You got me. I'm on my way out there. And that's when I got to meet AJ. And interesting story real quick on AJ. And they also took me to Jewish State Factory and to Nestor Placencia Factory. And as I was touring the factory, everybody, the people from the U.S. or people, they knew who I was. And we got stopped and everybody all the workers were like gossiping and says they wanted to know why everybody was catering to the peasants.
That's a great line.
Because little people in that country are not successful or really, looked down on in a demeaning way. And I was like, wow, shit's real. And they told them and everything, and they couldn't understand it. And when I came back, the show had started airing in Latin America. And we were in Nestor's factory, I think it was Nestor's, and everybody was stopping. The same people who thought the thing is like wanting pictures, and they told me I had to leave the factory because I was slowing down production.
Oh, because everybody's coming over to take pictures.
I said, I was the peasant last time, fuckers, but now you want a photo with me, But that just shows you, and that's why I talk a lot of things about being misunderstood. The breed itself that I rescue is misunderstood, misunderstand. They're not aware of, what the real stories are, and they cannot speak for themselves. And at the same time, me being a little person, I'm misunderstood. People always, when they see you, if they don't know who you are, they think you as an Oompa Loompa, a leprechaun, circus freak or something like that, not a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. And, so we always ran into that problem that we had to always prove ourselves to what we are and not what you think I am. So when I got that run in there, I was just like, wow, here we go again. You know.
But it worked out well.
Oh, it worked out great.
You've got a number of lines of cigars, and let me just talk about.
Had different lines. A lot of them were limited editions.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we probably had about 8 different cigars because we still have the Diesel original Shorty. Then we had the San Bajito Shorty Punisher by Nestor. Then we had the Shorty Acid. And
let me just pop this up here and let folks see this. So if you want to learn some more things about Shorty, you can go to ShortyWood.com, which is right here. Okay. So this is ShortyWood.com, and on here you get cigars, all the cigars. Talk about his pit bull rescue. Talk about the pit bull history he has on here, pit bull facts. Little people talent. So you still running the talent agency?
I'm still running it. We're not making a damn dime off it right now, but yeah. You know, thanks to COVID.
Store. So if you want to help.
Which that's not going on right now.
This is not going on right now?
The Shorty's, the rescue store. Yeah, I thought you said rescue tour.
No, the rescue store. So if you want to help out, and buy some stuff, things go to support the rescue missions that Shorty has, both in Mexico and the United States. And I believe you actually told me the other day that you were taking a trip through the United States. You went up to the bike fest.
Sturgis Rally.
Yep. And
was up there for 10 days after everybody telling me not to go. I did it. I survived and made money for our rescue. And that was the whole thing, because 80% of my income has been cut this year. About 70% of our rescue funds have been cut this year. You know, thanks to the royalty of our cigars and other things we've been doing, we've been hanging in there.
So on these cigars, hair of the dog, I mean, you're getting some new shipments in, you told me. So is the hair of the dog coming in?
Now that hair of the dog, my size is no longer in, but Jason Andrews, who's done the extension of the Diesel line with Whiskey Row, is also bringing other lines back, like the Diesel Grind, Diesel Hair of the Dog, Delirium, and other things, which is, they're not of my size.
All right.
So right now with me is the Diesel Shorty original. Natural Shorty is what I was trying to think of that I've had in the past with Drew Estate.
We always had the Acid Shorty too, right?
Yeah, we had, not no more. And then, okay, that's there. And the one right there is the San Bajito, which was limited edition with Nestor, which I blended myself.
So that was limited edition. That's not coming back?
No. And that's the Punisher. That the leaf was blended with Nicaraguan chilies.
What?
Yeah, that was a Shorty Punisher cigar. It was, yeah. And I gave it to people who thought they were I can smoke anything type of guy. And the funny thing is, when they were doing the blending with the tobacco leaf with the chilies, you can never get consistency right with the burn, the flavor. So it can be a light burn sensation, or it can just knock your ass out. You can never get it right. And we would have people crying over this cigar. You know, it went on for a couple of years until, you know, as all things come and go.
And then the Diesel Shorty.
That's the Diesel Shorty original.
So that's always in production?
Yeah, that's been going on again. I've been in there for 10 years. Now, that's no longer going. The grind is only in 2 other sizes, which I have no clue which are, but they're sold through General now.
Okay.
And we don't have the rage up there. I guess not.
No, you don't have the rage in here.
Wow, that's something to know about.
Yeah.
So we got the Diesel Shorty original and the Diesel Shorty rage.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta do some updating here.
And when people buy these cigars, these proceeds, besides helping things out, they help these dogs out too.
Of course, and Myron Dutch and Cigar International has been good to me from day one, and they've always supported what we do. And between them and Alex Swinton, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I'd still be in this. Because I don't own a cigar factory. I don't own tobacco plantations. I don't own nothing. They gave me a chance, and it's been a success since then. And they were worried after the show went off that the sales were going to go down, and they're still going straight.
There you go.
And we're sold throughout different cigar shops throughout the country, but mostly online. Which, for a lot of people right now is a good thing, because online companies, cigar sales are.
Well, online, even the brick and mortars are doing fairly well. They were doing curbside pickups. Some shops, were doing home deliveries. Some shops, you just make a phone. I've purchased cigars all over this country from local shops, not even big boys, and just made a phone call and said, "Hey, what do you got in stock? Walk me through your humidor. If you're in, next time you're in the shop, walk me through." And I pick stuff off the humidor, and they would just ship it to me. And I just buy it right from the shop to help them keep the lights on. And it's a good thing. I mean, there are more people smoking cigars now, they say, than there were before the pandemic.
That's what I've heard and talking to other people. They're saying, because we get our sales reports and everything, and I'm like, I'm impressed. And he was telling me, it's like, no, there's a lot of sales going on with, the online industry that I know about, but I haven't been able to do a cigar event since January.
How many events did you do normally per year?
For cigar and animal? I mean, because normally when I do
kind of mix
them
together.
I try to, I do about 20 to 30 events throughout the year. And every time I do an animal event, when I go to that city, I try to do a cigar event at the same time.
Okay.
A lot of times we do the road trip tours, and we combine everything. I mean, even like when we went to Deadwood Tobacco, and I took my cigars with me, or they had the cigars there too. And we started on Friday. It was supposed to be a 10-day thing. By Wednesday, all my cigars were gone.
Huh.
I was turning around, and Tim from Asylum gave me cigars to sell at my table. I was selling CLE cigars at my table because they gave them to me so I can sell them to raise money for the rescue. We were in, we have a coffee blend out from Janice Roasters Coffees.
Are you doing Janice?
Here we go. Because I was going to show this.
There we go.
And that's helping us, raise money and everything.
Is that on the site? I didn't see that on the site. Did I miss
that's that? Not on the site because you have to go to JaniceRoastersCoffee.com.
Okay.
And you can order it through then. And we sold pretty good. A lot of it out in Deadwood. And, we sell it at our pet store here in Mexico. I know, coffee at a pet store in Mexico. Everyone, you got to do what you got to do. And, Chad Bates sells it online for us. So, it's another way of doing it. And plus, I love coffee like I love cigars. Just like I love wine. But we don't have a Shorty wine.
Need to get a Shorty wine.
We had it before, but the regulations and BS and dealing with people, it's a nightmare.
Oh, man. I belong to this wine club that is, I guess you would consider it kind of an angel investment wine club because I put money in every month and then I get this email that says, okay, you got like $250 to spend. And all of these, I would call them boutique wines, if you want to call it that, these small guys that create these wines and you just pick what you want. So I look at wines like cigars, right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
big boys, and then you go out to a vineyard in California, right? And you take a tour, and then you say, man, I want to make my own wine. Well, come on over here. Let me talk to you. We'll take this bottle. You like this wine? We'll put your label on it, and it's up to you to market the crap out of it, right?
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, we're trying to help both ends, and we went through a couple wine companies. I'm like, not worth it. If we even featured one of the wine companies on our show, and they were unappreciative of that.
Oh, man.
I'm like, you just got what viewers that you would have never gotten back then, and but yeah, it's we had to, when the COVID thing happened, and all my events got canceled and everything, and all our fundraisers got canceled. It was like you had to reinvent yourself, and that's what we did. But you got to do what you got to do, especially when you got all these mouths to feed over here.
Right.
I mean.
So when you gonna roll it back just a little bit. You went down to Mexico. Officially, when did you actually take residence in Mexico like you are now?
Here's the funny thing is, back in I want to say at the end of December of 28 or beginning of January 2009, one of my friends invited me down here, and I was living, of course, in LA. As a matter of fact, on a boat at that time, and like an idiot. Plus, we had a little cabin out in Big Bear Lake where we had a lot of our rescues. But I told him, I'm not coming down there with everything I heard on the media, right? And he called me a hypocrite. What are you talking about? He goes, you hate when the people start believing the media of the dogs, that they've never experienced any of that. You've never been down here, and you're talking about the country. You got me. So I came down there, I actually drove down from LA down to San Diego, and he lived about, I want to say 30 miles past the border. And I just immediately fell in love. And I saw the prices of the housing, the rentals and everything. And I said, all right, I found me a rental down here, gave up the cabin in Big Bear, moved a lot of our stuff down here, our rescue work. I was still in LA, and I was coming down here on the weekends or whenever I could. And it was just, besides the culture, there's danger everywhere, but it's where you're at and what you do. Of course, you have to mind your awareness and surroundings more than you would in the U.S., but, there's places in L.A. I wouldn't go to, in Chicago, in New York, and places like that. And, and a lot of the violence that happens down here is among themselves with the cartel. Of course, every now and then there's an innocent bystander that gets shot, but doesn't that happen in, the U.S. and everything? But, and for me, with the cost of, I gave up living in L.A. 5 or 6 years ago. I gave up my house rental. I moved closed my office, closed the rescue. We decided to move everything down here, because the cost of everything is, most stuff is like 1/4 compared to Los Angeles and San Diego. And, I can hire 5 workers down here to be equivalent of paying 1 worker $15 an hour in LA. So you have to use your resources and money to, do what you can. And even where I live now, most of the community here are the damn irritating Americans from the U.S. They come down here, think they can bring their shit from the U.S. and try to change shit, which I hope one of them's watching this shit.
Now, so where you live now, you've expanded this facility.
Yes.
Talked to you the last time, where now you've got your residence, you've got the kennels, you've got the veterinarian facility now. Everything is on site.
Well, and this is temporarily of what we have, because we turned the vet area to the back room, or we use the pool table to do our stuff. Again, we're in Mexico. We need to spay and neuter dogs. We do it how we can. When we have big events, we do them in empty lots for the spay and neuter program, but we can't do it right now because of that, of COVID. We used to do the free vaccination clinics. We bought a piece of land about 1.5 miles up in the mountains that was supposed to take over everything. But because of what happened with COVID, we had to stop what we were doing because, of the money coming in, because we were getting ready to build the septic tank, build the water peeler, things in process, and we had to stop and just focus everything here. So that's why we expanded more over here, because of what funds we had until we move on. Before a year ago, we didn't have half the kennels we have now. We didn't turn one of our back rooms into a medical department. We got more medical supplies in here than probably an urgent care center. We have a triage of shit. It's just people that's donated to us. I got vets and doctors that work on people trying to get the stuff I have.
Wow.
And it's all because of a gentleman named, David Anthony in Maryland that is just extremely helped us out and given all this stuff that we can do the spay and neuterings and the emergency surgeries. And when a dog is hurt, that we can help the community out by giving them supplies.
Nice. Very nice. Now, give me a day in the life of
a day
in the life of
a Shorty when I'm not traveling.
No, of a pit bull rescue. You get a phone call.
A day. You got to realize what we go through here. I wake up around 5 in the morning before my workers get here. And some of the dogs sleep inside. Some of them are in kennels outside. You got to let them out. You got to switch dogs around so they can get their run time, pee and poop and everything else. At the same time, I'm making my coffee. I'm turning on the computers. I'm getting everything ready. And then one of the workers shows up and it's feeding time. And they hear the bowls dangling and wake up everyone within a 1 mile fucking radius of the noise. They just they love me out here, of the noise and everything. Oh, it's feeding time, fucking Shorty's house, but whatever. And, then from that, the other worker starts showing up. He's doing his diligence by being the poop master and getting ready to start walking some of the dogs out in the neighborhood. And then it's the maintenance of the place. It's the cleaning of the place. It's, a lot of the times there's, the kennels are on concrete, or the kennels are on gravel. You gotta, disinfect them. It's an always thing where it's, checking on them, looking over the dogs, trying to get them adopted out, dealing with petfinder.com at the same time, running other businesses. And even like tonight, I do last call, as we call it, by myself. People don't realize I start to wind down, but once I do last call, it takes me almost 2 hours to do last call. And which means is let everybody in and out, put the ones away that are not coming in, give them we got the meat bones that we get from the butcher shop that we give them every day, and getting everybody quiet down, throw the classical music on through the entire facility compound, get everybody going. And then I come back and I sit where I'm sitting right now in my room, watching a couple of TV, checking a couple of things. So a lot of people don't realize running a rescue, you don't have a 9 to 5. Right. Because you just can't clock out at 5 o'clock and they're there. You got to do something about it.
Now that's the facility. That's your day-to-day facility. What happens when the phone rings and says you got to go and rescue a dog, or a bunch of dogs? I mean, how does that work? Well, what is it like going like a bounty hunter? Well,
it can be. Because we got a lot of. We're full now, and we actually can't take nobody at the moment. We try to work with other groups to help either foster or take in, but you still have the pit bull stigma even down here. So you get a lot of people that have not been involved in the rescue world for a long period of time do not understand you can't save everybody. You can't save every animal. You can't save everything because of the overbreeding, of the abuse, of things being done. And you do everything you possibly can. Even on the show when we were rescuing dogs all the time, we were only taking care of a very small percentage. There is nothing that people can do. I get hate mail. I get things. I thought you rescue dogs. I'm like, you know what? Why'd you take this dog in if you can't keep it? I'm trying to find you to take it a place, but you want me to do everything for you. you know, I'm not a miracle worker, but it goes on, and we get, we actually don't give our phone number out anymore. And we tell people either through email or Facebook. There's a sign on the door. We're surrounded by a 10-foot block wall. There's a sign out front. Doorbell is out of service. Our phone ringers are off. So if you wish to contact us, send us a message on Facebook or email. That's to anybody. Neighbors, I don't care, because we have 20 security cameras around this complex. Most of them are to keep an eye on the dogs. Instead of getting up every 5 seconds to find out who's chewing on what or what's that noise, you just look in the cameras. But then again, you got them in the front of the brick wall where you can say, oh, no, I don't want to talk to that person today. And, so it's because if you keep on going to the door, you keep on answering the phone, you're never not going to get anything done.
Right.
We get tons of messages on email, Facebook, on our different pages. And a lot of times he goes, I know you looked at my message. I'm like, I'm not the only one looking at my Facebook page because, we looked at it. I can't respond to everything. Sorry, but you're sending me a message from India. What do you want me to do? India. We get them from, different parts of the, world. I'm like, you mean to tell me there's not a rescue group down there in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky? So it became very overburdensome, very overwhelming, so you had to cut back and do what you can. But what I do miss most is, you can always rescue an animal. You can always rehabilitate it. But if you don't get out there and speak and bring awareness to people and make them understand what you're doing wrong or why are things so screwed up with the breed, you're not doing nothing. Because you're always going to be something to rescue. There's always going to be animal abuse, dog fighting, everything. And, and that's what I've been missing most, be going out there and talking to people and doing seminars and, even like I said, visiting, hospitals and retirement homes and schools and everything, and let people be aware of what they're supposed to be. I mean, I'm sorry, but they're ready to do their nightly killings, really. They can get away. A couple of the other ones are on the floor.
My niece in LA, her and a boyfriend, they have 3 pit bulls they own, and they're the gentlest creatures on the planet. When I visit there, and I've only been there a couple of times, or whatever, they just want to play, run around, wrestle. They're just fun dogs, man. I never understood how anybody could hurt an animal, let alone a dog. Okay, I mean, it's just all they do is give you love.
I tell the dog fighters, like, you have kids, yeah. Would you put your kids in a pit to fight each other like that? No. What is it? And again, some of it is when they're raised with that, it's nothing wrong with it.
Well, it's kind of like being raised, like you said, growing up in the projects, these children are raised. You do a comparison of that, where you see people raised like that their whole life, multiple generations. It's all they know.
Yeah.
Right? And that's to them is what life is. And it's sad.
And it's to teach them, and change them. And most of the time, if you catch them at a young enough age, hopefully you make an impression.
Pit bulls are good dogs. It's all in the way you treat them. That's right. Jeff Wolf.
Well, it's with anything. I mean, this breed is so strong. If you teach them anything negative, it's a bad thing. You don't even teach them to be a guard dog. You're teaching it in the wrong way because they don't know their own strength. Sure. And it's a situation. If you train one of these dogs to be your best companion, be your right-hand man, your whatever, hopefully, if you need that protection, they may or may not protect you. I'm telling you now, with the crew we got here, there are probably only a couple that would actually do anything. Everybody else is like, no, that's a TV. We don't need that. But leave the dog bones in the fridge, Yeah, no. You'll get injured here by getting stampeded. We pull practical jokes here all the damn time. Between the taser, the air horn, and having the dogs run down the narrow hallway when you're trying to squeeze through, people get hurt.
Well, it's like I was telling you earlier today that one of the passages I love in the book is where your dogs they got into the wine.
Oh yeah, God.
And it was like not like by accident, but on purpose.
Mussolini, God rest his soul.
Well, if you name a dog Mussolini, you got to expect he's going to do something like that.
He figured out, because we don't. There's not that many carpeted floors out here in Mexico. It's a rarity. Everything's tile or ceramic or whatever. He knew by grabbing the bottle and slamming it on the kitchen floor, it'll break open. And he taught that to Hercules and everybody else. And you would come home, and everybody's mouth would be red. You knew we like, hope you guys don't cut yourself. And then we knew that we had to hide the wine in a storage container or something so they couldn't get to it. Then you had to put a lock on the refrigerator because they knew how to open it to pop open the beer by chewing the can open. I mean, it's like dealing with kids.
That's beautiful.
One guy asked me, Mike with the million, hey, do I still know Jordan? I haven't heard from Jordan. He was one of the kids we were mentoring on the show. And he did get his dog neutered, but I haven't heard him from ages.
There you go. A little blast in the past.
Yeah, that kid was a kid who came from the same neighborhood I did and made a difference and got involved in dogs, and dogs saved his behind. Hey, Shad Bates is watching. You bastard. I didn't know that. There's the coffee guy.
All right. There you go.
Okay.
Buy some coffee. Let me go to my top of the hour kind of thing I like to do. A little brief here on what's new in reviews and news on Stogie Press this week. Then we'll come back and we can continue the conversation. We got some time.
Yep.
So we'll just share the screen here. So those of you that are subscribers to Stogie Press, you're getting these email blasts once a week now that summarizes some of our reviews and news. This week we did 3 reviews this week. I'm going to start off with the My Father Cigars Fonseca. This is the Robusto. We gave this one here a 93 rating. This is a shade-grown Nicaraguan Corojo 99 and Nicaraguan binders and fillers. By the way, if you've been watching some of my reviews, you'll notice the trend that I'm beginning to see on the new cigars coming out in 2020. There's a lot of Nicaraguan puros. And I'm just curious with the industry. I got to talk to some more people. I don't know if it's because they can't get leaf, or they're holding the leaf that they've got from other countries, or is it just Nicaraguan puro is the way to go? Anyway, this one here, we rated a 93. It had a really nice flavor profile. You could read it there. That's cedar and cinnamon, some dark chocolate, some leather, malt. I love it when I get that malt note in a cigar once in a while. This is a cigar that My Father Cigars actually purchased the brand from Casada. If you remember, Casada originally had Fonseca. They completely reblended this and put their own band on it. So you can see it comes in this beautiful box, old Cuban style box it is, and just an absolutely beautiful cigar, beautiful burn. A little bit of an off burn there. I got a point, so a couple little things, dinged on it, but overall, had a little flaky ash in the second half, had a slight off burn, but this is a box worthy cigar, hands down. So check that out if you like My Father Cigars, or you want to try something real interesting. That is definitely one to look at. We also took a look at the Rocky Patel number 6 Oro. This one here ended up scoring an 89. Again, this one is pretty much a Honduran puro, with the exception of the jalapa filler that's in it. So there's mostly all Honduran in this one. This is a $10 cigar. Um, People have been really raving about the band. Everybody likes the band, they told me. So that's quite interesting. This cigar actually won Best Cigar Honduras 2020 by Cigar Journal, the Robusto Vitola. Okay, so this year's Cigar Trophy Awards, they won that. Comes in a number of Vitolas. And you can see here, it's got like kind of a light box press on it. It's not a sharp box press. And burn, you can see I got some runs on the burn. I got this pointy ash cone, which is giving me indication that it's burning a little too much inside the cigar. You can see it right there. So you get some points deducted on that. Overall notes, you get white pepper and cedar. It had some kind of a grassy note in the beginning of the cigar, but that kind of went away. You ended up getting cream and some caramel sweetness. Kind of finished off with salty and butter notes with a little bit of a bitterness at the end. So that's kind of where the points came off on it. So still worth picking up a 5-pack of if you're interested in a pretty decent Honduran cigar. And then lastly, we took a look at the new Crown Heads 4 Kicks Mule Kick. This is the limited edition 2020 that they come out with every year in their 4 Kicks line. I really like this cigar. I mean, I bought a box of these. They come in 10-count boxes. I've been smoking these, and they're limited. I should have bought 2 boxes. I really like it. The only thing I'll say is that there is this slight papery note, the very front end of it, but it quickly is overtaken by coffee and caramel. So there was a ding for that papery note, and I did smoke 3 of these, so I know that's the profile. That's the same thing I got each time. I just noticed that. The box is gorgeous. This box is this teal-colored box. My photo probably doesn't do it justice. And the box, when you open it up, it's got this kind of like tissue paper on it, and it's got like these spider webs. You can't see it here, but they got these spider webs embossed in this paper. So this paper folds left, right, top to bottom, and it's a slide top box. So this is an absolutely beautiful box, beautiful presentation. If you like presentations like that, nice, well rolled, well packed, beautiful ash. I mean, fantastic ash. This thing held. Just a slight little off burn. Nothing much there. Going all the way to the nub. I've taken 3 of these down to the nub, and I'll do it again and again. So it took some points off for the that paper note early on, but after that, it's like just a little mild wave, a little offsetted burn cone. But this is definitely worth the box. I bought one. I'll probably buy another one if I can find it. Long ash, and it was very consistent across multiple samples. So very nice cigar. As far as news, there was a rather busy news cycle this week. Now that we're coming slowly out of this COVID lockdowns where we weren't able to get cigars, they're starting to show up on the market now. Drew Estate just introduced this Herrera Esteli, Hora, the Tienda Exclusiva. This is a Hawaiian-only cigar exclusive for the Hawaiian market. And that cigar is really just Mexican San Andreas, and I'm not telling you what the filler and the binder is, but it's a typical, very well-constructed Drew Estate cigar, and it's going to be available at a number of shops in Hawaii itself, and they come in 10-count soft packs of $95 a pack, so $9.50 a cigar. They are having a virtual event, and you could probably buy them if you want at that virtual event, and maybe they'll ship them to you. The premium cigar industry, both the PCA and CRA, have gotten together. They announced this a couple weeks ago, but they've expanded this now. On September 29th, they're going to have an industry town hall, and that industry town hall is going to feature a representation, obviously, from Oliva, Rocky Patel, Padron, and Carlito from Fuente. They're going to be streaming that event. You can join in. You can send them questions to their social media channels, and they're going to be addressing things that they're doing from a legal perspective, what's going on, and talking about the victories that we recently have had. So kudos to the PCA and the CRA. Gurkha has now, by the way, is now known as the Gurkha Cigars Group. Okay, as you know, things changed in Gurkha in the middle of the year. They're shipping the San Miguel to retailers. So this is another cigar. This is made in Aganorsa leaf. It's another Nicaraguan Puro, and it's using a Nicaraguan shade-grown Corojo. All the leaf in here is from Aganorsa. It's going to come in 3 different vitolas. They say the prices are ranging from $9.50 to $9.95. Again, a nice Cuban-style box. And Plasencia begins shipping the Alma del Campo Travessia box press. So they've been getting hammered by consumers to come out with this box press. So they finally did. They decided they would make that. They launched this originally in 2017, and now they've come out with a box press vitola in this. So this is a new extension to the Alma de Campo line from Plasencia. This cigar is coming in $17 a stick, 6.5 by 54. Adrian Acosta. So those of you that know Adrian Acosta is with the Cigar Culture Facebook group. They've been getting together for a while talking about this. They have come out now with their own cigar. So they tried over 60 different blends over quite a number of the past few years, and they finally realized what they wanted to have. This is now called the Culture Blend number 3. And it's going to be using tobaccos in the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and Ecuador. They come in 5-pack, 5-count soft packs, and this is probably one of the most extensive write-ups on a blend that I've seen from any manufacturer or brand owner, where they come in, they describe not only the wrappers, binders, and the fillers, but they're telling you what region they're coming from, and they're telling you what crop it came from. So this is very well-aged tobacco in these. So if you are a member of the group, you can check out the new Culture Blend number 3. Reach out to them. They are going to be selling these at quite a number of shops around the country. So you can check out the article. You'll see all the different shops that are selling these cigars. And lastly, well, 2 more, right? So the cigar news continues. We've got Protocol Cigars announcing their Jane Doe 2.0. So last year they came out with Jane Doe, and now they came out with the Jane Doe 2.0. Again, being made at Eric Espinosa's Luzona factory in Esteli. They're not telling you anything about this cigar. They are first come, first serve. They are having an event on October 1st. It'll be a virtual event starting at 7 o'clock. Abe at Smoking will be hosting that event, and anybody that's on have first dibs to get these cigars. And then El Artista announced some new products for 2020 and 2021. They've rebranded and kind of tweaked the Puro Amber blend that we had from years ago. And they've also are producing a Buffalo 10 box press. And that's it. That's last week's news. So that's the news and reviews on Stogie Press. You can always check out these Taking It to the Nubs. We'll bring Shorty back in. Lost you there, brother.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I lost internet connection for
Yeah.
a couple of seconds.
It's all right. It's Mexico. All right, so that's okay. We went through the news and reviews. We do that every week just to let everybody know what's going on. Again, if you want to see more of if you see these shows, all of these Take It to the Nub shows, I remind people are on the Stogie Press YouTube channel. They get post-produced, put out there, and you can always subscribe to the YouTube channel. With great appreciation if anybody does. We want to continue to build that YouTube presence as we move forward. So going back to Shorty. So you do about 20, 30 events normally in a year, mixing them up with the dogs and the cigars. You're down there in Mexico. What is your what do you want to do next? I mean, you've written a book, you've been in TV, you've been in numerous TV. Let me ask you, that's a good question. What was other than the Pit Boss? What was your best TV or movie experience that you were in, of the litany of credits you've had?
I mean, wow. Probably, I mean, because I did a lot of, appearances or backstage appearances, if you want to call them, as stand-ins for the stunt doubles for kids, besides making physical appearances on TV. But when we worked on Daddy Daycare with Jeff Garland and Eddie Murphy, and there I was a stunt double, and I had the most fun on set. I had the most time because they treated you as the same. The crew behind camera, the director, the producer, everyone treated you as the same person. I mean, even Jeff Garland would refuse to have one of the runners serve him food. He had to go get it from craft services himself. Everybody was, a team. And that was the third movie that I was a part of, working with Eddie Murphy. And he finally kind of opened up. He was always reserved. So it was, the most fun I had. And people don't understand, when you're working on set, I mean, you're working on a movie and you're there for 2 or 3 months working on the movie, but you're working 14-hour days, and a lot of it's just sitting around. Even when we were filming Pit Boss, and we normally work 10-hour days without a camera. You were working up to 16 hours a day. We're filming up to anywhere from 60 to 80 hours of footage to put in a 42-minute episode.
Yeah.
So imagine the amount of the shit that they didn't show and everything. And, and the clashes you have with production, which is one of the reasons why we got away with it. And it was, it was getting bad because it was what they wanted and not what was originally created. Of what was, what you saw was real. We're not turning it into a scripted show.
So does Eddie Murphy smoke cigars?
No. He's actually, the last time, it's been years since I've seen him, but the last time I saw him, he was a health nut. He had his own trailer, but he had a whole nother trailer on set just for a gym.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a health nut, surprisingly. So, no.
So of all the actors that you worked with, who was the biggest cigar smoker you worked with?
I don't think there was one with all them. I don't recall of all the. I don't recall. I remember one time we were filming doing Alvin and Chipmunks, and across the stage, Schwarzenegger was filming a movie, and we passed cigars back and forth. This was before Pit Boss, right? And I got, I gave him, I think, an Upman Maduro. And he gave me a cigar, and it was good, because he saw me smoking one day when you were coming out of the stage when we were taking a break. Imagine coming out of a sound stage, and you see these 3 headless freaking chipmunks, and one of them puffing away on a cigar, and he's like, "Okay, what are you smoking there, guy?" And I told him, and we switched, and you You just, you see a lot of things you never expected. And that was probably a thing on his head too, like, head over around your, arm, holding the head while you're smoking a cigar. Somebody's kid would be traumatized seeing that, but.
Yeah, I'm sure. But did you smoke a lot of cigars on the set?
Yeah. When I could, yeah. I mean, it was anywhere you can. And, I mean, we still do. Thank God there's not that many regulations down here in Mexico. It's like, well, then, out there. And I mean, basically, they say you can't smoke where there's food, but yeah, whatever. Or they allow you to smoke outside. There's not that many regulations. California has just become so horrible in everything of regulating your life in general. So, now you can't smoke on public parks. Like,
Hawaii's like that too.
it's, I understand if it affects some people, but there's nobody around. But again, it's part of it, and I enjoy it.
And do you have is there a cigar shop near you, or you just get your?
No,
You just have your.
I have. There is, like, north of me in Tijuana, there's one, but a lot of the smoke shops, cigar shops, all they sell is the counterfeit Cubans for ridiculous prices. And the tourists come down here and they're like, "I'm getting a Cuban." I'm like, "You're getting gypped."
They get the glass box top.
Huh?
They get that glass box top.
Yeah. And most of my cigars, I got probably a collection of 3,000 cigars down here from IPC, PCR, Cigar Fest, and whatever fest, and people giving me stuff, and I slowly bring them down because you're only allowed to bring 50 cigars past the border, which, yeah, I haven't broken that rule so many damn times. I got, there's probably around 10 big humidors in the house. Every room has an ashtray. Every room has lighters. Every room has cigar cutters. You go to the toilet, there's an ashtray, cigar cutter, and a lighter there. Where, people say usually one room's a man cave. Shorty's house is a man cave.
Yeah.
That's why I'm single.
Now, what is so other than your own Diesel Shorties and lines that you've had fingers on, what is your favorite brands?
There's, I'm kind of like stuck on my own, but I love the San Lotano Maduro. It's a good cigar. I love, I don't know which one it is, but Placencia cigar, the Maduro one. I forgot. I got a whole box. Yes, I love that. Anything that's bold and strong.
Bold and strong.
It's just me. I can't stand. It's the one by Nick Foundation Cigars, that one that you can't pronounce. His waist.
The El Guiancia, yeah.
That you can't pronounce.
The Wise Man.
The Wise Man cigar. That's a good one. But I always roll back to my own because that's the reason why I got it. No one knew what we were going to be doing. We just thought this was going to be a limited edition cigar. It turned out to be its own, machine, its own building of what had happened. And it was just like, it's here. It's still here. And, a lot of people, when I first got in the industry, there's a couple of cigar manufacturers. Oh, he'll be gone within a couple of years. They got that, and you also got looked down upon, no pun intended, because, here's somebody that's popular, just using the industry just to promote a cigar, not knowing that I've been a cigar smoker. Right. What we did on TV, smoking cigars, a lot of people have never done. We were going back and forth with the network. You can't smoke on TV. Yeah, whatever, cancel the show. Which back then I didn't think nothing of saying, because they could have canceled it if they wanted it to, but they, didn't. And they even played tricks on filming because I had, my lighters and humidors, cigar cutters in the desk, and I had the humidor behind me that said Diesel on the back, and they would tape shut my humidor where I couldn't open it while we were filming live, or they would put the sign in front of the Diesel thing, like move a photo over, or I'd open my desk and there's no lighters or no cigar cutters, and it was just like, you bastards. They were just like, so it was a whole game of who can light a cigar and who can help Shorty not light one. And they were so worried about logos and everything, they never knew that Cigar International Happy Face ashtray was the biggest logo, that they never knew that they're like, oh, that's just a Happy Face ashtray, and never knew they were plugging that company every week.
That's beautiful.
Or they would leak the fuel out of my lighter.
Oh,
I'd be getting there, click, 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 son of a bitch, and they would have to edit everything, and can you recreate that moment? That was just priceless, except with you motherfuckers and my goddamn cigar lighter, it's like, and then I used to have a habit of clicking the cigar cutter, and the sound man would just go insane. Like, would you stop it? He'd come in during like.
You like this sound?
Oh yeah, it just irritate the hell out, but it was fun. But yeah, a lot of people don't know. I mean, when are we? Why'd I leave? It's stressful. It's stressful.
Would you go back to if you were offered a role in a movie, would you take it?
Oh yeah, definitely on different terms. I mean, even when Pit Boss ended, it ended more of a mutual thing, because we were supposed to get renewed for 1 year. And when the VP of AP was talking to me, and there was, discussions, maybe not, maybe it's going to happen. And he had asked me, he goes, we can do other things. And I'm like, who is we? Because I was about had it with my staff, right? And he goes, you and Hercules. Oh, I'm all ears. And he goes, if it doesn't come back, we can do a lot of your own web series. You can appear on other shows. You can, actually, relax. Because at that same time, during that time we were filming, I was actually going to 40 cities a year.
Wow.
Every weekend I was gone. Sometimes down here in Mexico, they wouldn't see me for 2 or 3 months. My crew was just probably happy as hell. But, I mean, even now, being COVID and everything, they're all like, when are you going back on tour? I'm like, excuse me. When you're going, because I work the shit out of them when I'm here. When I went to South Dakota, they were probably doing a happy dance down here. But you know what? They take care of everything. So I got to give them props. But yeah.
They got to take care of the dogs.
Yeah. So it's just, yeah, it's its own machine. But I probably would if everything was, as it was. We tried to get them to film down here and they wouldn't. So they're like, you got to move back up north. I'm like, not going to happen right now. I'm an American citizen, always will be. I'm a voter, not telling you who I'm voting for. And
I read the passage in your book when you were reading, you were really enamored with Donald Trump's books.
Yeah, that was then, but yeah, there's other reasons and stuff, but yeah, it was kind of funny. My ghostwriter is a liberal. Oh God, I almost said that word. Is a liberal, and she didn't realize. I said, remember when you wrote the book? Because she hates that man to death. I mean, I can't understand how some people have that much hatred. But I said, remember how we discussed him, how I met him, and everything else. How I read his book in prison, and so forth. And he goes, I forgot. She goes, I must have just blacked that right out of me because of what's been going on. And I'm like, I mean, everyone asks, what are my views and everything. I'm like, people, whatever my views are doesn't make a difference. I got friends, family. I got fans, followers that are both Democrat and both Republican.
Oh, yeah.
I got to make everybody happy. my views and my opinion on what's going on in life is my views and my opinions, and that's it. You know, and everything. You know, I can tell you one thing. A lot of people love Trump down here that are not American.
Well, I mean, he's fighting. From a Mexican perspective, he's helping to fight the drug cartels.
But what he's doing is what we like him for, us Americans like him for down here, is all the pissing off he does to Mexico and all the with the market. The peso takes a dive and my dollar turns gorgeously gold. So I keep on talking shit, Donald. I'm okay with that.
So, who is your new service dog?
We got Alice. Finally, we found somebody to take the footsteps of Hercules. Can you see him right there?
Oh, yeah.
Alice, Ben. Ven acá. Ben. Aquí. There you go.
He listens.
See, and he was, because Francis kind of took the place, that boy right there.
Uh-huh.
But funny or bad thing about it, he's been attacked a couple of times by other service dogs in the airport, and he doesn't like other animals coming to like a 3-4 foot radius of him because he thinks he's going to be attacked.
Oh.
We rescued others or Aries under a good situation where a lady who had too many big dogs. We're talking about Great Dane, Doberman, Akita, Great Pyrenees. I mean, she had to move because her money was running now to a smaller place, and asked me to take him, and we just brought him back thinking he wasn't going to stay long, and not knowing that, you know, he's our permanent thing. And, you know, a lot of people who know Hercules throughout the year have known me, they are thinking that this is Hercules, you know, in reincarnation.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Hercules sent him to me because, I mean, he's almost just like him, except for he's a social butterfly. This dog will go anywhere. Just to, you know, Hercules would curl up in the corner on a table or whatever and mind his own business. This one here, you know, has to know everybody what's going on. And, you know, he didn't have much training, and, you know, but he learned real quick, and he goes everywhere, you know.
Jeff Walsh says Aries is the god of war.
Somebody that finally got it right. People are going like Aries because it's pronounced Ares, A-R-E-S in Spanish, right? And when I say Ares, because I can't roll my R's in public or anywhere else, Alex, Alan, Alice, oh my God. Okay, Aries. Oh, you named him after my zodiac sign. No. His name that was his name when he got him, as the god of war. So, you know, and I kind of like, that's another thing that came kind of thing, because Hercules, you know, was a Greek god. And that's when we started naming all our rescues lately after Greek, you know, brothers and sisters of Hercules, which half of them we can't even pronounce. And then when you get the Spanish translation, it just screws everything up in his household. So,
Do they understand Spanish and English?
they understand Spanish more than English because of workers.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And a lot of the ones that used to know English don't know it no more because the workers. That's why I was just speaking to him in Spanish, because, you know, a lot of times he doesn't, you know, listen, and that's all they know.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, people in public will say, hey, you have a treat for him. Sit. And they're like, no entiendo. Just give me the goddamn treat. Like,
wow, that's beautiful. Well, Shorty, it's been a fantastic hour and a half. You've gone longer than most. I could go on forever with this, but I know people got other things they're doing too. It's a pleasure. I hope to see you maybe at one of the big events this year in Vegas.
we'll see.
You know, if something's happening and we get out of this mess we're in and we have these events, I would hope that you can make it.
You'll see me once it gets back to somewhat close to normal.
Yep. It'll be great. Do some more catching up, drink some whiskey or wine, and smoke some cigars. Thank you very
I'll
much.
let you buy me a bottle of Macallan's 50. How's that?
Macallan's 50. I might drop you on a 35, but we're gonna have to drink it together because it's not gonna last.
No, I know. There'll be another story after that. But yeah. All right, Jimmie. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching us. Thanks for joining our thing. I really appreciate it. And hey, we'll be back on one day again.
Thank you again for watching. Peace, brother. Thank
Take
you.
care.